What's going on, everybody? Jesse Montaño, Guerilla Sports, Kyle Fredrickson, Denver Gazette. We are back in Winnipeg, man. I was going to say we're here in Winnipeg, but the folks need to know we're back. We're here for a second time. Avs lead the series 3-1, have a chance to close it out, here in Winnipeg tonight. Kyle, I guess just from what you saw, guys on the ice, really nothing, newsy, but just what was your thought of the vibes in the room, on the ice, things like that?
Yeah, I think the sense in the room is that this is the most important game of the year because it is, and they're getting a Jets team that's going to be ultra focused. They're playing for their playoff lives at this point.
Yep.
So the Avs know the formula that it works to beat this team, right? We've seen it the past 3 games. They've really played the most complete hockey maybe we've seen all year long.
Yeah, I think so.
You could really just go up and down the list of things that have been impressive. But to me, it's that second line, right?
Yeah.
It felt like Casey Middlestat was kind of the star of the pregame and in the locker room. A lot of people talking to him, get to know his story. Coach Bednar says he's not surprised, but are you surprised a little bit?
I'm surprised in the sense, I get where Jared's coming from, of we scouted this kid. We knew that he could do this. So I get that. But just given what we saw from Casey Middlestat down the stretch, not that he was bad, but just you're sitting there like, oh man, can he dial it up? Can he take it up to that playoff intensity that he needs to? First time doing it. We just didn't quite see that down the stretch. The way that he has flipped the switch in these first 4 games has been remarkable. You go back to last year, they get bounced in the first round, and the talk was depth. And obviously, no Val Nichushkin hurt that last year as well. That second line is just, it's amazing what a difference it has made. And that really seems to me to be the line that the Jets just are struggling to find an answer for. They're sending their shutdown guys out against the Nathan McKinnon line, and they just haven't been able to handle that second and third way that the Avs are throwing at them. So I'm not completely shocked, but I'm with you. I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, and it really has covered up, which is a low-key storyline of this series, and that Mikko Rantanen is off to a little slow start, right? I mean, 40-goal scorer in the year, comes into the playoffs. He's had some chances, but even his shots on goal numbers are lower than I think what we anticipated. Talked to him before the game. Not surprised that the confidence is there. He made a good point. This isn't the time of the year where you worry about goal scoring per se.
Yeah.
You want to score, but if you're overly thinking about, putting pucks into the net, you're probably not worried about the complete game that it takes to win in the playoffs.
It's a great point.
So he has the assist numbers, I think 5 or 6, but I am curious to see, is this a Mikko game where we really see him break out? We know he's capable.
Well, and this is maybe going to sound silly given the way that the Avs have kind of filled the net, but in a game like this, you need someone who hasn't been able to step up so far kind of come through for you here. Yeah. Where it's hey, we know this is going to be the hardest closeout. We need other people to chip in. And it feels silly to say that about Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
But you're right. And I actually think the point that you just made about Casey Middlestat and that second line kind of covering up for that a bit, I hadn't really thought about that, but I think you're totally right. How much more flack would Mikko Rantanen be catching right now if the Avs weren't scoring top to bottom the way they are?
And we're not talking about Jonathan Drouin either, right? I mean, if the Avs were kind of down in the series, or if this was more of a tightly contested one, that'd be a big storyline.
Yeah.
They've absorbed that wonderfully.
Yeah, absolutely. On the Jets side, Rick Bowness did confirm no Brandon Dillon, no Vlad Nemesnikov. I think for anybody that saw either of those injuries, this isn't surprising. He tried to say that we're not ruling them out right up to the bitter end, but I guess no real surprise from me. These seem to be kind of trap situations, though, because you get guys into the lineup who haven't been playing. Yep. I guess from your perspective, injuries are never good. How much do the Avs need to take advantage of the fact that you've got 2 regulars that have dropped out of the lineup?
Yeah, it's got to be part of the factor here, right? I mean, I think this is a Jets team that this is kind of their last hurrah. If this doesn't work, Rick Bowness's job security might be a talking point coming up here with the way that this team has played the past 2 postseasons. But I do think that for the Avs, they've focused on themselves at this point, and it's worked.
Yeah.
It's almost like it doesn't matter who they're playing because they're playing so well.
Yeah.
And the way that Georgiev has bounced back from game 1, I do kind of, it might be cliche, but I think focusing on what the Avs do well is going to lead them to victory, because it almost seems like the Jets are in panic mode a little bit, right? The message coming from Bowness versus the dressing room has been a little bit different after the last game, and that's never good when you're fighting for your life, right?
Yeah, no, and it feels like you said that they're fighting for their lives, and now the injuries are starting to pile up, and you can't figure it out on defense. There seems to be a lot of things stacking. I think this is a really obviously important game for the Avs. Like, the Avs need to take care of business tonight. If you let this Jets team get a shot of life, now suddenly you're going back home, and it's, you're just trying to fight them off, and if they get that one, suddenly you're back into a coin flip. We're back here, and who knows what could happen. Again, that's maybe a silly statement. It's an important game for the Avs, but given the context of everything around it, I think it's especially important they get it closed out here tonight.
Yeah, because they have Connor Hellebuck in net still, right? And I don't know how much we attribute his struggles to what the Avs are doing and how the Jets are failing to play in front of him, but at some point, this guy steals a game for them, right? Like, if you went into the series, you would predict that as happening. So
at least once.
Right, so and that's the thing. For as well as the Avs are playing, I don't think we would be shocked after tonight if that happens. But there just haven't been a lot of signs that Connor is the same goalie that he's been all year. Well,
hey, you guys can definitely see us now.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's maybe the cue to get out of here. But Kyle, it should be another fun one here in Winnipeg. The crowd's going to be energized.
Oh, yeah.
One last thought on the crowd that I'm going to be looking for tonight. A couple of years ago when we were in Edmonton, these are smart hockey fans here in Canada. When we went into Edmonton for the 3-0 game, when the Avs were looking for the sweep, the crowd knew. Like they were energized, they were excited, but they understood the situation. I'm curious to see if the Avs get like a 2-0 lead, what happens to the crowd.
That's a really good point because these guys have been so, locked in, the unity, the consistency of the fan base. But yeah, if they're losing by 2 goals late in the game, do they start streaming towards the exits?
Right.
Is that kind of sadness set in? Yeah, that should be fun. But I will say I'm looking forward to the moments before that as well. Because this place is going to be rocking. Credit to Ball Arena, but this is wild.
They're going to try to will the Jets to a win for sure. And so, like I said, that's going to add to the fun. But Kyle Fredrickson, the Denver Gazette, Jesse Montaño, Guerilla Sports out here in Winnipeg. Should be a fun one tonight. We'll see if the Avs can take after the Nuggets did last night and wrap things up here with the Jets in the first round. But we'll be here tonight. Make sure you're checking out Denver Gazette for all the post-game written content. Some of the fastest content that gets up. You're always under deadline, so it's always up and ready to go. Make sure you guys are checking that out, and then we'll have all your interviews and all that stuff posted to Guerilla Sports immediately after the game as well. So thanks so much, guys, and we'll talk to you later.